Now, back to more of Behind the Scenes at the Hanover Theater. And your host, Lisa Condit.
Thank you all for listening. Excited to be here with Mary Bridget Davies, who plays Janis Joplin in A Night with Janis Joplin, coming to the Hanover Theater for 2 performances on Sunday, September 15th. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So I have to say, is this every woman's dream come true to play the queen of rock and roll, or what?
Oh, it's mine, for sure. I used to listen to her records and just that unbridled passion that she had.
Right.
And command of the stage and everything. You really get to flex your own, emotional range and demons, etc., because she's a perfect vessel and a perfect conduit for it. And you're just up there really tearing the whole crowd down from the rafters for a couple hours. It's so much fun, but it's so exhausting.
I'm sure it is. But the music is amazing. Did you grow up singing her songs?
It's my parents' music. They're baby boomers. It's totally their jam. So while I was rocking out to, my pop stuff and dance class music, I'd come home and they'd be listening to, John Lee Hooker and the Allman Brothers and Janis Joplin. So it's literally, it's just in my DNA. And I've never in a million years did I think, as a little kid, listening and kind of singing along, like, oh, I can kind of sing like that. What a weird gift to have, I think is what I've said at one point. And then, boom, we went to Broadway. And then I was nominated for a Tony for Best Lead Actress in a Musical for the role. So
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Crazy. Full trajectory, yeah.
So your parents must have been completely thrilled when you got involved with this project.
Oh, for sure. And because I started my own band right out of college, and it's always been, they always knew that I was going to be, it was in dance class. My first dance class, I was 3. My
Me
first
too.
Recital, and it's on tape. I was destined/doomed to be a performer. And I say that because it's quite a feast or famine type of career.
Absolutely.
And so when this show came around, they were like, look, we're going to do it regionally and sit down for months at a time and this and that. So before we even got to Broadway, my dad's going, oh, my gosh, she's going to have health insurance. Oh, man, she's going to have, all the things that your parents worry about. And my mom's like, oh, man, she's going to get to rock out,
That's hysterical.
So it was nice. It's been a wonderful opportunity to be able to keep my wild side, but then also be responsible.
I love it. So I wouldn't say I'm an enormous fan of Janis Joplin because, again, it's probably my older siblings' music more than mine, but I certainly remember rocking out and having fun attempting to sing many of her songs. I don't know much about her life, except for that she died tragically young. So what were some of the things that you discovered in your work with this musical, A Night with Janis Joplin, that surprised you?
Well, and it wasn't that it surprised me as much once I learned, but her absolute, the respect that she had for all of the black artists that came before her. Like Etta James, Nina Simone, Aretha Franklin, Bessie Smith, Odetta, and we all have different wonderful actresses in the show that portray these women as Janis is telling the story. Because our show, A Night with Janis Joplin, is literally that. You're sitting, if Janis could just put together a knockdown, drag-out concert for you one last time and tell you about herself. So we don't really dive into the drug addiction or the alcohol or her sexual preferences or any of that. We don't have time. It's about the music, and it's about how it shaped her as an artist, and that it was so important to her that everybody know about these women that came before her and what absolute pioneers they were for her. And it just made me appreciate her so much more. Because 27 years old, you think about that.
Right.
She was famous. She was only famous for about 3 years total.
It's
Not
amazing.
Even.
It's amazing.
How young that is.
Absolutely. Have you had the opportunity to talk to any of her musical influences?
Well, I actually toured with her band, with Big Brother and the Holding Company. So I've been in the living rooms of some of her best friends. And
wow.
The guy that she traveled from University of Texas to San Francisco with the first time. I was sitting there in a guitar circle playing acoustic guitar with him in San Francisco on Powell Avenue while Bill Ham was doing his oil and water light show projection, like doing a private show for us. Now, this is the guy that created that and would do those at all the hippie dances at the Avalon Ballroom and at all the other venues in San Francisco. And here I am just like sitting in her life, basically. If she were still alive, I'd cosmically be in her seat. Like, I wouldn't be there.
That must be incredible.
Yeah. It is. And you know, it's for it to inform the character, but also just for me.
Absolutely.
What an experience, yeah.
And so what was the response of some of her friends as you're sitting there and you're meeting them and jamming with them?
Well, I did. Someone handed me something, and I said, "No, thanks, man, I don't do that." And he goes, "Okay, Janis." Because she wasn't particularly into a certain, now almost legal substance, as much as people would have thought in the 60s, you know. But we were in San Francisco, and those were the people, and it was counterculture people, just older, and we're all hanging out and playing guitar or whatever. And I'm like, I don't do that stuff, man. And I just kind of like waved it because I was playing the guitar. I was like, no. And he goes, oh, okay. He goes, ew, did you see that? And they're like, yeah, that was weird, man.
Because that's how she was, too.
They said even just the way you gestured your hand. They were like, it was crazy. It was like having our friend. And of course, you know, same age at the time when this happened. So they were like, it was just like looking at their friend in a time capsule in that same house. You know,
wow,
like, crazy,
right? Yeah. It's just such a slice of history and time and place, and you're the conduit, right?
Right, and I'm so proud to be the one that was bestowed with the honor, because I do feel I always loved that particular, I love the blues, and I love everything about American music and the history of it and the evolution. And, of course, from the blues came rock and roll, and, of course, right out of rock and roll came the counterculture smacked right behind it with all the civil rights movement and everything else going on. So it's not just, hey, there's a girl that's an impersonator and sings songs. Like, I've studied the culture and the time and the history, and it means a lot to me. So because things are getting forgotten, it was a much more tangible time. You wanted to do something, you had to walk outside of your house and go do it. You know,
right.
You called somebody and they didn't answer the phone. They didn't answer the phone.
Well, how about when you make
everything?
Right. How about when you make plans with somebody, you show up at that time and they're not fluid. They weren't fluid at that point.
Right. Exactly. And it was just kind of, hey, you know, so many of the people who populated San Francisco at the time in the 60s during that counterculture movement were underage runaways and young adults, you know, and the Mary Pranksters would spend their mornings making sandwiches and stuff and just go down to the park and hand it out because their kids were starving.
Wow.
You know, but and you know, if you're just like, I'm singing this song now, it's like, I'm singing about that time and that group of the counterculture generation. Because and I've gone all over the world. I've gone to Europe with them and gotten to play, you know, on the same bill with Country Joe and the Fish, and that was his. You know, Janis and Country Joe were a thing for a while, and just being in Jefferson Airplane, being around all those people, and it's been a really good time too.
And so, what's your favorite part of the show, or of the tour, or the experience? What would you say is the number one thing that just keeps you going and gets you excited to get out on the stage?
The audience.
Yeah.
Because it's different every night. But it does the same thing to everyone every night if we do it right. And that's when the lights are going and the house is a little bit light and I could see what's going on, and it's just like melting the years away from her original fans.
Aww.
And blowing the minds of the younger ones. And then you look out and they're like all the same thing.
Well,
and it's just, I saw a dude walk in with a walker, and at the end of Act 1, he was holding it up and shaking it.
Oh, look at that.
And I'm like, yeah, that's what it's all like. We're just getting so sterile. and the show is not. It's very visceral, and so it's fun to see people kind of like lose their minds.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait. I'm definitely going. I'm definitely bringing my friends to see A Night with Janis Joplin. Again, there are 2 performances on Sunday, September 15th, and I have to say that all of our listeners, so reasonably priced for the quality show that we're talking about. Tickets start at just $35, which is incredible when you think about you, a Tony-nominated actress, as well as this fabulous show and fabulous music. And, it's about 2 hours of entertainment. I'm assuming that there's an intermission in there, but that's a lot of entertainment value all at once. And you do have opportunities for limited VIP packages. So for our listeners, if you're interested, which I know you are, go and check out our website. It's the Hanover Theater. We spell theater with an RE.org, and you can purchase some tickets there. Again, we have 2 different performances. That's A Night with Janis Joplin on Sunday, September 15th. And we're here speaking with Mary Bridget Davies, who we can tell is the perfect person to play Janis Joplin.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mary, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Everybody else, stay tuned. We'll be back after this quick break here on WCRN AM 830, Behind the Scenes with the Hanover Theater.